You know?
Okay, Africa, that way, right?
I'm on my way to Juna night. I'm in the Juna village now. All my guys from Europe, all of them are in the village now, babe. And before we start, right, move, yo. Right foot. Break your back in the clap. Left foot. Break your back in the clap.
And lastly, folks, a lot of these animals are safety. Please remain seated at all times, keeping those hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the truck. That means we're not gonna. But we're gonna start off in the Little Aturi Forest. It's home to nature's shyest creatures. They rely on their camouflage and will use whatever they can find. Bamboo, trees, bushes, so keep your eyes open. And there's our first animal spotting over on the right. That is the okapi. There's two of them there. Many believe they're related to the zebra because of their striped legs. Instead, they're the only known living relative of the giraffe due to their super long tongues and similar skeletal structure. Those tongues are so long it helps them to grab their food, lick their eyes, and clean out their ears, which they do every once in a while. Discovered in 1901, many believe them to be a mythical creature. They're also known as the African unicorn. It's rare to spot one in the forest, but we caught a glimpse of two females. Beautiful. Over on the left there's a black rhinoceros just by the rocks. Hopefully we'll still get a good look at it. Black rhinos, they weigh around 3,000 pounds, and they have a prehensile upper lip that helps them to pull leaves off of tree branches and bushes. They're also solitary animals just like the okapi, but could still be found gathering with others around a watering hole, especially at night or when they have younger calves. To the right there, you might catch a glimpse of a black and white bird. That is the saddle-billed stork. They can grow to be about 5 feet tall, and they have a 9-foot wingspan. That's about the width of the canopy above your heads. I couldn't see from the angle that the bird was sitting in, but you can actually tell a difference in eye color. Males have brown eyes, females have yellow eyes. Over on the left, there is the bongo at the top of the hill there. They have a chestnut coat. There's also the greater kudu. They have a gray coat. Both are antelopes. The kudu doesn't have any horns because they're female. Unlike the bongos, both male and females have horns. They can push through bushes in the forest. They run at full speed. We're gonna head over to the Safi River next. Keep your eyes peeled for any air bubbles because the Nile hippopotamus can hold their breath for about 8 minutes. Hippos spend around 16 hours a day in the water, and that's because they don't have any sweat glands. It's how they stay cool. Oh, well, over on the right, we have a little bit of a rare sighting. There's a hippo out of the water. Actually did cool off a little bit. It was a little muggy earlier today. We're also passing some pinkback pelicans. A group of them is called a pod. They're the smallest of the pelican species, weighing around 9 to 15 pounds, but they have that same 9-foot wingspan as the storks. You can see that one hippo was grabbing some late lunch, early dinner. They are herbivores. They'll eat things like grass, hay, but they do love their fruit and veggies like watermelon, pumpkin, lettuce. Pumpkin is good for a lot of animals. Helps an upset stomach. So keep your eyes peeled. Hippos are actually not the best of swimmers. So they will either choose to walk or run along the bottom of the river. Up ahead, this bridge says caution, which makes a lot of sense. Next to us is the Nile crocodile, largest freshwater crocodile in Africa, growing to be about 10 to 20 feet long with an average around 12 to 14. And they have a bite that is over 2,000 pounds per square inch. That is bone-crushing. At the same time, their jaws can be very gentle. They'll put their eggs in their mouths to help them hatch. Their saliva helps to soften their shells. Crocodiles are very protective of their young. If there's danger nearby and the babies are still small enough, they'll put them inside their mouth or what's called a throat pouch to keep them safe. And if you ever see a crocodile with their mouth open, that's normal. They're trying to regulate their body temperatures. We're entering a different ecosystem. It's home to all different types of plants and trees, like the baobab tree, which we'll see over on the right. It looks upside down because it doesn't have any leaves for about 9 months and can hold about 30,000 gallons of water. All different animals will use the tree to their advantage during dry seasons and while migrating, which is why it's also known as the tree of life. Here on the savannah, it's home to the giraffe, zebra, wildebeest, and collie cattle, all different types of antelope, and so many more. I see a little bit of movement across the savannah, so we'll get a good look as we go all the way around. And I think I saw some movement right at the bottom, but I'm not sure. Oh, yeah, I did. There is the tallest land animal in the world, the giraffe.
Oh, wow. 6 foot drop. Damn.
You got the wildebeest over there as well. Wildebeest travel in herds of up to 1.5 million. That makes them the second largest densely populated herd in the world, second to humans. They'll migrate about 500 to 1,000 miles a year, especially if there's a major change in climate or they need access to more food or water. A lot of times they'll go back to places they've been to before. But when baby wildebeest are first born, they can stand and walk, sometimes run within the first 15 minutes after birth. Even those little ones have to be ready to move. Up ahead, I see some Ankole cattle, and I think I see some movement over here just past these bushes. Yep, they're the African wild dogs, most commonly known as the painted dogs. Looks like someone finger painted them. They have no relation to the hyena. Instead, they are very, very loosely related to the domesticated dogs, but they're nothing like our dogs at home. Our dogs have 5 toes, they only have 4, and they're one of the most successful hunters in the world, with an average success rate around 85%. Up ahead, we'll get a better look at the cattle. They have these massive horns. I also see some sable antelope. They're a little bit further towards the back behind some of these bushes, which makes sense. They like their own space, they're territorial, and their horns are a little different than the cattle. They are curved backwards, acting as a defense mechanism if predators were to ever jump on their backs, like lions. But for the cattle, here, again, the Ankole cattle, their horns weigh a max of around 15 to 20 pounds, and inside they're almost hollow. They're made of a honeycomb-like structure. Blood will circulate through them to keep them cool. That's what I call their built-in air conditioning, but it can also be called thermoregulation. Now, I did just pass some termite mounds. Termite mounds are made up of 3 different things: red clay, saliva, and animal dung. Elephants might use them as scratching posts. They turn hard as concrete. Others will use them kind of like watchtowers to keep an eye out for predators that could be hiding in the tall grass. At the very bottom of the termite mounds, there will sometimes be a mushroom farm. That's what they'll eat. They'll bring food from the outside to help grow those mushrooms. And they will also dig out their own circulation system, so hot air goes out the top. So termites are very interesting to learn about. We're able to do that because they only need about 30 to 40 minutes. A few more giraffe up ahead here. We can see one is trying to grab some breakfast, lunch, or early dinner. Now up ahead I see some baobab trees, so we could be getting close to some African elephant. It is made up of the adult females as well as those young and largest in the herd. Elephants are what are called a keystone species, which means if they were ever removed from the environment, they knock down trees for food or either just to get them out of their way. By doing so, they can create new pathways. When they hatch, they're actually gray and will turn pink after eating brine shrimp. If you look if they lift their wings up, you might see some of those darker patches. They start nesting season, and it takes about 30 days or so for that egg to hatch. And then it takes almost 2 years for them to reach that pink color. They're one of the... So they were trying to describe the square lip that they have, which means they have a different diet. They're grazers, they'll eat grass and hay. There's also some ostrich over there to the right. Largest bird in the world that can't fly. It looks like they're walking the other way. Turn here, hopefully we'll get a chance. Now, even though they are all sound asleep right now, you might be able to hear them roar a little bit later. You can hear what helps them to mature when they engage in horseplay. It also helps them to assert dominance within the group. But the purpose of this post is to promote conservation, also coexistence between humans and animals. The goats help with that. They're friendly, they're playful, and they make great companions for them.
You got it in video,
Well, this
right?
road is taking us back to the village. Use and recycle.
And I had
You would have wanted
Navi River. Yeah, I mean, your call.